happy that your resident alim will be joining from the 15th of this month. And that was the reason that I had actually picked up the short term. I did not want the Jamaat to be left bereft of a resident alim, and it was important that a certain level of continuity, however not perfect, be held on after Sheikh Ali Abbas went. Although his shoes were very big to fill, but whatever was in my capacity to present before you, I did try my best. And I'm just praying to Allah that whatever I've tried, if it is beneficial to you, then He accepts it from Allah, and everything that has been beneficial to you is all from Allah and the Ma'asumeen. And if there's been any shortcoming, I raise my hands up and say it's entirely from me. Having said that, the Quran says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء, that the people who really understand and fear God are those who've got knowledge, people of knowledge. And you're going to have somebody coming over here who's a full-time resident alim. And so it becomes important that I highlight to you, you may have come across it, you may have perceived it, you may have discerned it, but at times repeating and revisiting those points become very important. And so what I'm going to say, if you can bear with me for a few minutes before we go to the Masa'ib. These things are what we've learned in our travels across the world over a period of probably 20, 30 years. You can see I'm not young anymore. So what I squeeze out and I give it to you, I do hope you will take it up. Because I'm reminded of that wasiyat of Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. When he did the wasiyat to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. When he says, Ya Hassan, look, I have passed my life and you are starting a life. You have two options before you. તમારી પાસે બે વસ્તુ છે, બે options છે. One option is that you travel the life as I have traveled. You face the pitfalls, you fall down, you get up as I have done. From those pitfalls you learn, and then you reach your life at an age that I have reached. That is one option. The second option is you listen to what I have experienced and learn exactly those same things without facing the pitfalls. The choice is yours. Either you go and experience everything that I've experienced yourself, which will have problems in them. Or the next thing is, you learn from what I have experienced, so you get the same amount of experience without the problems. Because I will tell you how to navigate. If you go yourselves, you will fall, then you will navigate. And this is what I would like to highlight to you. I'm not here Allamul Ghuyub, I'm not Allama, I'm nothing. Just a little bit of experience that we've got that I want to share with you. And that is this. But before I start, there is something about an alim that you need to understand. And I'm not here to do a PR for myself. I'm a small student. यहाँ वहाँ से पढ़ के जो है we recite something and hoping that in His mercy He'll accept us. But your resident alim is coming. And there are a few things I need to give you a tip, certain advices. But before that, understand that the rank of an alim, and this is what we see on our community, and when I'm talking about not the Khoja, not the Pakistani, not the Afghani, the Shiite community, there are certain issues that we need to understand. And the first thing is that in the eyes of the Holy Prophet, an alim, if he is classified as an alim, then there are certain things that the riwayat tell us. And this is what I want to highlight, and then a few pieces of advice. You've got traditions from the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The riwayat tells us, Man ahana aliman faqad ahanani. وَمَنْ أَهَانَنِي فَقَدْ أَهَانَ اللَّهِ وَمَنْ أَهَانَ اللَّهَ فَمَصِيرُهُ إِلَى النَّارِ. Whoever disrespects or humiliates or belittles an alim, he's belittled me. Whoever has humiliated and belittled me, he's belittled God. And whoever has humiliated and belittled God, فَمَسِيرُهُ إِلَى النَّارِ, his path is straight towards the fire of hell. Understand, disrespect to an alim is equivalent to the disrespect of the Holy Prophet. This is at the same par as the Prophet's tradition saying, Man ahana aliyan faqad ahanani. Who has disrespected Ali has disrespected me. That means in the eyes of the Holy Prophet, the work of Amirul Mu'mineen is being carried on by an alim. If you recall last week when we were discussing about the concept of illatin ma'lul, the cause and the effect. Yeah, Chaitanya. So there are certain causes that bring about certain effects. Certain times we know what are the causes that bring about effects. But at times you don't know what are the causes. They may be physical, which you can see. They may be spiritual, that you cannot see. Like the Holy Prophet pointing to the moon and the Shaqqul Qamar takes place. There is no physical explanation for any of how that takes place. But yes, there is a cause, that is the wilayat, it's a queen. With respect to an alim, there is one issue that has been repeatedly mentioned in the traditions. A person who disrespects an alim, and this is the base I'm putting forward here, to highlight to you certain things that I need to convey to you. According to traditions, disrespecting an alim has an immediate impact on our lives. And that impact is that the riwayat tells us somebody disrespects, somebody humiliates, somebody belittles an alim. One of the first consequences is his lifespan decreases. So all those people who want to see their children grow up and want to see the children get married and want to see the children have children and they have grandchildren and spend their old days with their grandchildren, be very careful how you behave with your alim. The first thing that comes up is the lifespan decrease, and we have got, right now I don't have the time. And you see, I've always been struggling with time. But we have in history occasions of certain people, even ulama, however their niyat was good, but they tried to belittle some other alim and they died young. This is the first cause effect that takes place of somebody humiliating an alim. And that is why we find that we've got the tradition that in a time, in Akhirul Zaman, there will be a time when people will run away from ulama. That means they will run away from alims, from learning ilm. At that time, Allah will subject them to a few punishments. One, He will reduce these people's lifespan. They may have a lot of opinion and a lot of khwahishat and a lot of covetousness and desire that I want to see this in life, I want to see that in life, I want to see mara bacha, I want to see mara pote, or mere pote, or dada, or nawason ko sabko dekhna hai. Also, you will not get a chance for that because you've been disrespecting an alim. First thing, as I mentioned, lifespan decreases. Second, the riwayat tells us, this is a tradition, says if a person, in Akhirul Zaman, you will see people turning away from ulama, belittling them, humiliating them. The first thing Allah will do is reduce the lifespan. Second, He will reduce the barakat in their life. All the problems we have, finances, we need to be very careful. Is something that we've behaved with a scholar that is bringing this upon us. And remember, barakat does not mean that if you're getting £2,000 this month, you'll get £3,000 next month. That is not barakah. That is an increase in risk. Barakat does not mean this month £2,000, in May you get £3,000. No. Barakat means the risk is there, but what it was giving you previously, now that same amount is giving you more. Meaning what? Not £2,000 turning to £3,000. But if £2,000 was feeding 5 people, that £2,000 will now feed 10 people. The risk remains same, the qualitative output becomes more. This is what barakah says. Rawat says somebody in the Akhirul Zaman turns away, humiliates, belittles an alim, Allah will take away that barakat. So now you're earning £5,000 and you were very happily earning. Now that £5,000 is not sufficient. Because things will start coming and that money will keep going. But up to 3 months ago, £5,000, £4,000 was sufficient. Now I'm not. I have to use maxing out my credit cards. I have to borrow. I have to take a loan. I have to do this. Why? Because the barakat has been taken away. Now that £5,000 is not sufficient. 2, point number 3. In his life, Allah will impose upon him somebody who will persecute him. Either at the workplace, or in the society, or in the house, or something. Somebody will come over him who will make his life miserable. If it's a woman, it could be the husband. If it's a husband, it could be the wife. It could be the line manager. It could be the supervisor. It could be in the workplace. It could be somebody will come. And this is what Amir al-Mu'mineen said when his Khilafat was taken, yeah? He's the Alim of the Ummah. He says, you've deprived me of the Khilafat, now you will see. Upon you, people will come who will persecute you, you will shed tears of blood. And this is what happened. Look at the entire life of Bani Abbas. Look at the entire sequence of Bani al-Umayyah. Look at what Hajjaj did. Look at what Bani Marwan did. The Shajar Mal'una did. And this was even the Nifreen, the Badua of Bibi Fatima. You've taken Khilafat of Ali, now you will see Allah will impose upon you a group of people that will make you cry. Having understood that, coming to the point of your new resident alim. Look, a resident alim, a full-time resident alim, is an extremely important individual in a community. More so in the West. And more so for our kids. It is very important. So when Sheikh Ali Abbas went, and the time that I was over here, this is not the perfect setup. This is not the most appropriate setup. You can't have a resident alim who's traveling and coming 2 days a week. That is not how it should be. But in Gujarati we say, na mama karta kano mama saro. Or English we say, something is better than nothing. Ya Urdu mein kehte bhagte bhoot ki langoti bhali. Something or the other is better. But this is not the ideal scenario. An ideal scenario is a community should have a resident alim who's staying with you. He should be accessible to you at every point of time. My situation was not the ideal, but something had to be done. So our resident alim is coming. Now understand where I'm coming at. This resident alim becomes very important for the community. More so for the kids. The reason is that, look, let me be very blunt here. And you don't need to take it offense because this is how life is and this is the reality. We don't have knowledge. People don't have knowledge. Nor do they have hawsala to learn. They would rather sit for 90 minutes watching a football match than pick up a book and learn and read for 15 minutes. Do you agree to that or no? You don't have to tell me within yourself. So we don't have knowledge, nor do we have hawsala or the passion or the josh to learn. 2, nor do we have time to spend with our kids. Understand this. We would rather be more on our social media than spend half an hour sitting with the kids. I'm not talking about everybody. Few of them. So we don't have knowledge. We don't have inclination to learn. At the same time, we don't spend time with our kids. So now these kids, and I'm talking about a range from age 5 to 15. Understand this. Look, I don't have time with you. If I had a 3-hour session on how to raise kids in a Shia faith in a Western society, I will tell you and I will open things out. I would need 3 hours. But understand this. This age from 5 to 15 is where you make or break your child. 10 years. 5 to 15. If you are able to devote time to your kids between 5 and 15, this boy, up to the end of your life, you will be proud of him. If you don't take care of this phase of 5 to 15, you will cry up to the time you go to your grave. Understand this. This I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've traveled lots. It's now I've come to Leicester. I know what I'm talking about. 5 to 15. Write it down. If you've got kids between 5 to 15, this is the time. They reach 15, my friend, and you've not put in enough time. That child looks to be gone unless there's a specific grace of Allah. There's a time when he begins to realize what's happening. He begins to realize his youth. He begins to realize his rights in this country. Then you're in trouble. Then you should not cry. This is the time you need to take. And this is the time that you need a resident alim. Why? The same reasons. Because a parent has no knowledge to answer his queries, one. He doesn't have the inclination to learn to answer the queries of his children, two. And third, he doesn't have time to spend with the kids. So who's the person then who can help the resident alim? One common factor that I've seen among youths and the kids turning away from religion or becoming lackadaisical or nonchalant towards religion is when they keep getting questions coming into their mind and there is nobody to answer those questions. That's when these deviant ideologies start taking up. Then it sounds very good for them because their minds have not been filled up by the true teachings. So when somebody says you can do wudu like this, I say, yeah, this is logical. Somebody says 9-year-old girl to fast for 20 hours is dhulm. Allah cannot do dhulm. He says, yes. I'm not opening myself too much, but there are these deviant ideologies that are moving around in our country and beyond our shores. And the sixth Imam has given us this ruling, how to sort out. At the time of the sixth Imam, there was a deviant sect by the name of the Murji'ites. In Arabic, they're called Al-Murji'ah. I don't have a reason, there's no time to explain what this sect was. But it was a deviant sect, promoted and started very callously by whom? Very innocently, very naively. You'll be surprised who started this. Son of Muhammad ibn Hanafiya. Muhammad ibn Hanafiya's son involuntarily, unintentionally brought the roots of this Murji'ite sect. A deviant sect at the time of the sixth Imam. The Murji'ites were at their peak. And the sixth Imam is telling the people, Khudu atfalakum. Take hold of your kids and teach them about the wilayat and about the fadail of the Ahlul Bayt. قبل أن تأخذهم المرجعة. Before the Murji'ite takes hold of their minds and feeds the crap of the i'tiqadat of the Murji'ites. Hold of them. Meaning what? He says, hold our kids and fit in their minds the true aqaid before the society picks them up and fills the fasid aqaid in them. This takes place between 5 and 15. If you and I have no knowledge, one. If you and I have no inclination to learn, two. If you and I are not willing to spend time for my kids, then the only person is a resident alim. He's the one who's going to save the kids. But the problem is, you know what? The problem is now, this is where it becomes important. These were all introduction. The problem is we ourselves at times undermine our resident alim, as a result of which our kids suffer. And then a time comes that we have people coming crying. Hamara beta aisa nikla, hamari beti aisi nikli, maap bahijab, baap muttaqi. This girl has gone all over the place. How? Because 5 and 15 was not taken care of. This girl becomes 16 and 17 and she has not been brought on the right side. You cannot control her. There is no way. I'm going to call social services. You think it's a joke? Ask me. How many people, how many families? You can't force me. At what age? At 17 and 16 and 18. If you force, I'm going to call social services. The parents can't do anything. Why? Because 5 and 15 was not taken care of. Then from 16 till the time I'm alive, you are alive, it's always crying. Dua kumat, Allahumma rzuqni awladan saliha. Awladan salih. You never paid attention when she was requiring or he was requiring help. How do we undermine? This is one thing. Few points. One, never be disrespectful to your resident alim in front of the kids. Never be disrespectful. Where does this take place? This takes place in the house. Parents need to realize, don't badmouth your resident alim in the house. How long was the majlis today? People have got work. Tomorrow, kids have to go to school. Instead of 30 minutes, 37 minutes he recited. The child is listening. The child is listening. Going in the car. Itni lambi majlis ho gayi. The kid is listening. Understand. These kids understand consciously and subconsciously. You talk this way, the respect of the resident alim falls in his eyes. You know the problem comes where? It's only your resident alim most of the time who's able to sort out the affairs of your child. You have discredited him in your son's eyes. You think next time he goes to the majlis and he says about not listening to girls and not listening to music or not looking at na-mahram girls is going to have an effect. You've already discredited him in the eyes of your son or your daughter. Those nasihat are not going to be effective. You heard in that wedding, when was it? Sunday? Monday, Sheikh Sardar Jafar. At the end, he praised Sheikh Nuru because of the influence he had on his son. This is what is important. A resident alim and a parent who's willing to give his son in the hands of the resident alim for training. And it's got nothing to do with Sheikh Nuru, it's got nothing to do with Sheikh Sardar as a parent. Sheikh Nuru as a resident alim, Sheikh Sardar as a parent. This is universally acceptable. Wherever there's a resident alim, if a parent takes benefit of the resident alim, then you find the parent will realize how the resident alim helps the child. But unfortunately, we have become a community, and the elders would know. In the olden days, our elders, even in the subcontinent, Mumbai, Gujarat, when we had these old people with us, even though they would see children who are not related to them doing something wrong, they will tokofy. Why are you spreading your left when the resident alim is there? Close your legs. You try doing it today. The parent will come running after you. Why did you tell my son? You don't have time to spend on your son. Somebody is taking the effort to train him. I've received over here in this Jamaat, people have told me, we can't afford to talk to any parent, any child, because the parent will come after us. Why did you tell my child? You don't have time. You don't have an inclination to do tarbiyat for your children. There's an elder or there's a member of the community who's a good Samaritan at heart. He wants to train your child. And then you come and say, why did you train my child? This child will go up as he wants to grow up, and then you will cry. That's why we don't find elders taking place. In olden times, we had elders. Even our parents were not there. They would give us one hit on the head. Asucha, why are you standing outside? Go inside the mosque. Anybody dares do that to anybody's kids, the parents will come. Problem, the parents. And this is what they do in the car when they go from the mosque, when they go home and do. They'll start talking everything about the majlis, which eventually goes back. A long majlis. What was this majlis today? Did you understand anything? I didn't understand. I told stories. This child is listening on. Everything that you say, he's absorbing. You have discredited the child. You have discredited the resident alim in his eyes. Means what? You have imperiled your child. Now this child will not take hidayat from the resident alim. The parent will pay for it. Not now, 17 and 18. When I'm old at 65, I cannot control my son, and he's 18. Till the time I was strong, I could slap him and make him sit. At 18, he'll sit and say, Baba, you want to slap me? Try me. Then you can't do anything, because I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm old, and I've not taught him to be mu'addab and disciplined. I would always subjugate him by force. A time will come when my force goes, and his force comes to the shabab and peak. Then he will say, you want to touch me? Dare me. Don't discredit your resident alim in the eyes of your children. One. Point number two. Just one more point and then we finish. Be respectful to your resident alim and teach your children to be respectful. And the best way to teach your children to be respectful to the resident alim is to yourself show respect to the resident alim. It doesn't work that you don't respect the resident alim and you tell your child, be respectful. It is as if a father is a chain smoker in the house and he tells the son, no, it's not good to smoke. I think that's going to have an effect. Till he is under your control, he will not smoke. Baba, you think you can monitor him 24 hours when he goes to school? Oh, I have monitored his his social media. These children are so smart, they will run circles around you and you will not even know in IT. You just have chain smoking. You think he's not smoking outside? Of course he's smoking. If you have to respect the resident, want him to respect, you have to show respect. How? Few examples. When Resident Alim comes, if you're sitting, you want to show respect, because that's how the credibility increases in eyes. Stand up and greet the Resident Alim and tell the children, go, greet him. That is to show respect. When he's going to climb towards the member, you stand up and tell your son, stand up. This is again conditioned to the fact that if you're sitting over here, you bring your children inside, not outside like I've seen. People are sitting inside, the kids are outside. What tarbiyat is this? Quran says, Ku anfusukum wa ahlikum, fear yourself from the fire of hell and your family members. We are sitting over here listening to the children are outside making shor sharaba. My kids. If I don't bring my kids inside, nobody else will bring them. But no, we're not bothered. Same thing over here. Respecting the resident alim. If he gets up, you stand up. When you stand up, says, now stand up. When he sees the father, when he sees the mother standing up, if she sees the mother standing up, she will stand up. After namaz, go into musafaha. Take your child and say, do musafaha. Some of the kids, I see them, the parents bringing, so nice it is. It gives sukoon to the heart that, yes, something is being worked over here. But there are others, nobody's bothered. Children are out there running around. We are inside. He's coming and doing musafa. Oh, what good is that musafa? You tell me. After 30 years, you're going to go into the grave, but you've not passed anything to your children. What training is this? What parentship is this? See, this is the reality I'm telling you. So teach them. And this musafa is not something simple, yeah? You've got rawat. As long as two Mu'min brothers clasp their hands together, till for so long they clasp the hands, for the entire duration, sins are getting dropped down as leaves falling from the trees. गुनाह माफ हो रहे फ्री में, ना इस्तगफार की ज़रूरत है, ना कुछ करने की ज़रूरत है, बस हाथ मिलाने की ज़रूरत है. Do the musafa. Tell your kids to do musafa. And this is what I'm saying. And remember one thing, yeah? Final thing, and then 2 minutes of masai. And this is very important, yeah? He is coming as a resident alim, primarily to guard and safeguard the iman of your kids. There's in Islam, understand, there are certain things more important than death and life. More important. 2 things have been mentioned. 1, honor, respect. Hayhat min dhillah. Imam Hussain says. Death is absorbable. Disgrace is not absorbable. Honor is more important than death. And second, iman. Says you have iman, you die, not a problem. Keep your iman. That is, it's very beautifully encapsulated in that Farsi tradition, Farsi poem, yeah? It's a fantastic poem. I'll just read it in Farsi and then I will translate it. It goes as Ta tevani mi gurizi az yar bad. As much as is possible, run away from a bad friend. Ta tevani mi gurizi az yar bad. As much as is possible, run away from a corrupt friend. Kids understand. You got bad friends who watch porno, who watch dirty clips, who listen to music. Stay away from them. Ta tawani mi gurizi az yare bad. As much as is possible, run away from a bad friend. Yare bad, badtar bovad az mare bad. A corrupt friend is worse than a dangerous snake. Then he said, the shar goes on. Mare bad tora bar jan zanad. A poisonous snake will only take away your life. Yare bad bar jan o bar iman zanad. A corrupt friend will not only take your life, but he will also take your iman. He will lead you to corruption. He will lead you to the facade of your iman. So iman is more important than even life and death. And your resident alim is here to take care of the iman of your kids. I'm not worried about you, the elders. You give $1 million, you'll never leave Amir al-Mu'mineen. Can you say the same thing for the kids? Right now we hear, oh, Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman, they did so much for Islam, so much conquest, so much thing. They need to be appreciated. Will you accept it? You will never accept. But if you don't pay attention to the kids, they will grow up thinking, yes, they expanded the boundaries, they did so much, Fulan, we need to at least appreciate them. If that person is coming to save the iman of your kids, yeah, don't treat him as an employee. He's not an employee. How much lawajim you pay? 150, 200 pounds? You got probably 800 people in a Jamaat. 800 people, Jamaat, giving 100 pounds, 150, 200 pounds. 200 pounds, you think you own this person. Every person thinks I own him, so I can tell him what to do, what to recite, what not to recite. In Namaz al-Jummah, please recite Surah Jummah. In Dua Kumal, do Masa. Baba, you don't own him. He's not your employee. You're not your employer. 200 pounds, you don't own anybody. He is a resident alim. He is the one who's going to save the iman of your kids. Treat him accordingly. Don't treat him as an employee. By 200 pounds, you don't own any person, let alone an alim. You don't have a right that just because you're a member of the Jamaat, you can dictate anything to him. I'm not saying you're doing this. I know of Jamaats that do this. And so it is my duty to tell you. It's a lutf of God that you've got a resident alim. The team has really worked hard to get him on board. I wish you all the best with this new resident alim. Give him time to settle down. Don't expect miracles. It'll take time to happen. Give him space. Give him time. Invest your time in him and you will see he will give results. Do you get me what I'm saying? For the sake of our kids, you have no option. You really have no option. There are so many places that are struggling with resident alims, or if they've got somebody, they are messing around with the iman of the kids. Right now you've got somebody, you should be thankful to God. Hold on. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, opportunities run away like clouds. Clouds, when they come and they go away, they don't come back. That same cloud will never come back. You've been graced with the ni'mat of a resident alim who's a good one. Take care of him and he will take care of you. No, not he. Allah will take care of you. Allah will take care of your kids. And this is why we have this, that our kids become so important that it's not just us, even with Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Even with Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Children are qurrat ayn of an individual. And anything goes wrong with the kids is extremely hurtful. And specifically when it comes to Hadrat Janabi Ali Akbar alayhi salam.